Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Katani Alvin from London speaking. And here you've got a picture of President Trump declares national emergency.
As time goes by, we expect that the UK will be very, very substantially increased as it relates to
Back onto Trump again and the border.
China. Right smack in the middle is phenomenal. And we think they have a great chance for tremendous economic prosperity in the future. So I look forward to seeing Chairman Kim in Vietnam. Today I'm announcing several critical actions that my administration is taking to confront a problem that we have right here at home. We fight wars that are 6,000 miles away, wars that we should have never been in many cases, but we don't control our own border. So we're going to confront the national security crisis on our southern border. And we're going to do it one way or the other. We have to do it. Not because it was a campaign promise, which it is. It was one of many, by the way, not my only one. We're rebuilding the military. Our economy is thriving like never before. You look at other economies. They're doing terribly, and we're doing phenomenally. The market is up tremendously today. Not that that's anything, but, because I'll go back in and they'll say, oh, the market just went down. But the market is getting close to the new highs that we created. We have all the records. We have every record, but we're getting close to that point again where we'll create new records. So our country is doing very well economically, and we've done a lot. But one of the things I said I have to do and I want to do is border security, because we have tremendous amounts of drugs flowing into our country.
Right, now he's just mentioned drugs. Now let me just slide this across here. And Annette Cividanes put this up. It is a brilliant video. I really commend her, and I've commented to her. And this is about El Chapo, breaking news. He's names and politicians. So here we go. And this is dated February the 14th. Now, I've just held that picture for a few moments. We'll just go on a fraction. He doesn't look, understandably, very happy. But what I want to say here, when you look at the behavior, it's a shocking, disgusting behavior of the banking, central banks, and like the IMF and the World Bank. And if those who I'm speaking to have read Confessions of an Economic Hitman, then you understand that actually these countries they've been pushed into the gutter. And so the results have caused people to be almost forced to lose all moral code. So it's not surprising that people like El Chapo has resulted, many other drug barons, as a way they could get money going. But who is it that started the drug trade? The British Empire, growing opium in Kew Gardens. And with that, they started the Opium Wars to destroy the Chinese public, because China was a very closed country. They wouldn't let people in. Anyway, so here is El Chapo, and he has actually been arrested.
Much of it coming from the southern border. When you look and when you listen to politicians, in particular certain Democrats, they say it all comes through the port of entry. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's just a lie. It's all a lie.
Although apparently he would buy ordinary cars, lookalikes, to patrol cars and things like that, so they weren't picked up very often. It is a very good video, that previous one.
Can end it a lot faster than you think. But President Xi's agreed to put fentanyl on his list of deadly drugs, and it's a criminal penalty, and the penalty is death. So that's frankly one of the things I'm most excited about in our trade deal. I want to know the truth. I think maybe there's no more important point. We're going to make billions of dollars with this trade deal. It's going to be great for our country and great for China, I hope. Their market's down close to 40%. Our market's way up. We've picked up, since my election, trillions of dollars of worth. Trillions, many trillions. And China's lost trillions of dollars. But I want it to be good for China, and I want it to be good for the United States. So we'll see what happens. China's coming here next week, by the way. They're coming home, the traders. And then China's coming here next week. And then I'll be meeting with President Xi at some point after that to maybe, for some remaining deals, we'll make them directly one-on-one ourselves.
Now, I want to just carry on reading this. Meanwhile, UK may be facing martial law after Brexit was once again downvoted by the government. Well, I haven't seen any evidence of that today, which is the following day. The cabal are afraid of Brexit as it will cause a cascade of events for the UK once passed. Northern Ireland will be forced to leave the UK and unify with the rest of Ireland. Scotland will vote to leave the UK and join the EU as a sovereign nation. These events are all under GSARA compliant terms given to the UK via Brexit. Now, GSARA stands for the Global Economic Security and Reformation Act, and you can find a link on the Restored Republic website of Judy Byington. Reminder, GSARA is not a law. It is a complex, secretive treaty or even agenda that is being enforced upon all nations by BRICS, who are working with the Earth Alliance. There will be no GSARA announcement, but rather, that's new to me, but rather nations will have to reform and create GSARA-compliant laws. The declaration of a national emergency in the US, that's just what we've been watching President Trump announce, and martial law in the UK might both occur simultaneously. This would wipe out the cabal / deep state military industrial complex and their financial capital, City of London. This would cause the rest of the global structure to completely collapse. Any other cabal remnants that refuse to surrender will be tracked down and apprehended. The Earth Alliance is willing to do whatever it takes to begin the transition with or without the cabal's surrender. The RV can be expected to begin at any moment as it will kickstart the transition. Now, I've just clicked into the Restored Republic via the GCR as of February the 15th. Here, we can see this. The other one I was talking about was one up here, well, the Intelligence Alert Afraid. So now I'm back into Restored Republic, and I'm just going to run down here. This is talking about the end of the cabal financial system. That's the fraudulent system we've been under for, well, I would say probably around about 100 years. Brexit vote ended on the cabal financial rule of the cabal City of London and Vatican. On February the 15th, Trump was expected to close the cabal's privately owned US Inc., Federal Reserve and IRS. The New York stock market has been on the brink of collapse since October the 1st, 2018, when it lost all gains for the year. By early March, the financial giant was expected to crash, putting a final nail in the cabal's financial system coffin. Now, stock market revival, a crash of global markets would hide the huge influx of monies from the global currency reset, while Zim redemption would not only back the GCR but revive the stock market. So here we've got the next bit, RV for the general public. If public chaos occurred and to calm the masses, there would be a public announcement of the new quantum financial system that reset value of world currencies based on the individual countries' gold asset state-backed resources which should allow the RV to begin for the general public. And it is a matter of timing. So that's the quantum financial system. Now, other news that I learned down here, which is I'm just skipping through, but I'll give you the link. Okay, see, February the 14th, Intel report from Super Shadow. Now, I don't know who Super Shadow is. It's ex-political Intel report. Once I go onto his site, I don't see any more. But Tony Blair has been arrested, according to a reliable alliance source. Blair had been holed up in a cabal hideout on the Isle of Lewis, at the very top of Scotland. Lovely place, I've been there. And had been aware for over 5 days that the alliance was going to issue an arrest warrant and was on the run. The alliance had enough information from informants at Gitmo, as well as documents found at a cabal deep underground military base called DUMB, located near Beaufort, County Kerry, Ireland last year. In 2012, the cabal was experimenting with low-frequency, large-amplitude radio waves on the local population of Beaufort. The alliance had evidence that Blair signed off on these dangerous experiments. Low frequency is very, very dangerous. And there's the information about the locals. The alliance subsequently stormed the base last year, and it has since been neutralized. Blair was believed to be on a chartered flight to Montserrat for further interrogation, prior to being sent to Gitmo, according to the alliance sources. And then there's a Benjamin Fulford snippet coming from him where he's actually even talking. So let's hold it there. Okay, this is Benjamin Fulford.
So we're on the precipice of another government shutdown, I believe. It just seems like phase 2 of a very long-standing narrative to hide something behind the scenes.
Well, look, everybody who's got a few
This
brain
is Benjamin
cells that still
Fulford.
function knows it's nothing to do with the border wall. And it has everything to do with the default of the U.S. government.
Mm-hmm.
Again, remember, the Pentagon has its budget. This is only affecting the regime in Washington, D.C. They still control the Saudi oil, right? That's basically what they've got, keeping them going, and the drug money. The drug money is being reduced by legalization of marijuana. That's hurt them a lot because that was the big one in terms of volume and money. And the Saudi Arabia oil was not enough to keep their show going, so they tried to steal Venezuelan stuff, but it didn't work. This could be the time. And the other thing, I was sent by the U.S. military a bunch of documents, which I've seen before, but nonetheless, it was a good reminder that the only reason they were able to survive after the Lehman shock was this Johannes Riadi fraud. Let me remind you of that. This was brought up in the British House of Lords, and I've also published the related documents. But basically, the Federal Reserve Board, Alan Greenspan, went to this Asian royal by the name of Johannes Riadi and bought the rights to 700 tons of gold from him. They used that 700 tons of gold to create 750,000 tons worth of gold-backed bonds, which generated the $23 trillion when Fredo Sorin forged Queen Elizabeth's signature and stuff. And it's kept the whole Zionist fraud thing going, and they gave the Chinese a big chunk of this too. And the Chinese went along because they promised that everything would be different under Barack Obama. Said we'll have a black man in charge now and it'll all be different. And they believed it, but Obama was just a house slave with no real power, and it was the same people, just using him as a nice face to cover the reality. So this time, they're not going to be able to do that. They're not going to be able to put out another fraudulent document and keep their show going. I mean, Henry Kissinger is trying hard, but I don't think it's going to happen this time. We'll see. But I'm certainly pushing and saying, let's finish these bastards off. They're mass murderers. They're international criminals. They invade countries, massacre millions, and steal resources. And they need to be removed from world power once and for all.
Well,
we need to see them facing Nuremberg-style tribunal.
Okay, thank you to Golden State Times. Thank you so much to all my subscribers. Thank you and God bless. Keep sharing, keep commenting. I do read as many as I can. Haven't got a chance to write back to everyone as yet, but we are going through some very exciting times. We're going to see huge changes over these next few months. God bless and stay well. Tanya Alvin signing out from London.